Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm in a 2025 Mazda CX-50 Hybrid. The Hybrid is brand new this year. For this video, we're just going to do a interior walk around. So you've seen these before if you've watched my channel. So yeah, it's not wasting time. Let's just do it. Starting at the door here, we have, of course, the door handle, physical lock, electronic locks right there. Down here we have the windows and side mirrors. So window lock is down here. All these are auto in this particular package. And then you see you have fold in the mirror and then select left or right and adjust it. Then over here we have a whole bunch of stuff. This is for your parking radars. If you go through a car wash or a drive-through or something, probably need to hit that. This is for the TCS. You can turn it on and off. Personally, I like it, but you don't have to have it. This is for the fuel port down here. It's like really hard to see. It took me forever to find this. This opens the rear hatch. This is your driver's seat, or your driver's seat memory buttons. So you set here and you hold one of these down. That's one and that's two. These are very hard to see. I really wish that this stuff was on the door somewhere or up higher, because they're just really difficult to see. But, you know, can't have everything. Down there you got a hood release. Down there you go. Point at my finger, buddy. Down there you got a hood release. And I believe that under there, right there, is the fuse box. Now, let's look at the steering wheel. Hopefully the sound is good on this. Kind of making guesses as to sound because it's hard to mic this up. Okay, so the steering wheel overall, pretty simple. If you're familiar with Mazda interiors and buttons, then you know exactly what we're looking at now. So this is your infotainment or audio controls, up and down, fast forward and rewind tracks, right? Up to fast forward, that to rewind. Your source, if you push this, then you can choose where the audio is coming from. This is the stereo, or the volume. So up and down for volume, push it to mute. There's another volume knob over there. I'll show it to you. And then this is your telephone stuff, telematics. Also, if you push it and you don't have a phone connected, it will start the prompts to set up a phone. Otherwise, this is also the voice activation system. You just hold it down an extra second. Right here is your hang up button when you're on the phone, telematics. And then this is an info button. Info, as in my driver information screen. Yeah. So, I don't know. You just basically page through what is on that screen right there. I'll just show it to you now instead of waiting till later. Anyway, then over here, we got cruise control stuff. So you turn it on with this button here. It is adaptive cruise by default. And then you can see the set and reset right here. So set, up and down, and that also changes your speed setting. And then push this to resume. I always say reset, it's resume. Anyway, and then this is your distance, right? So less distance, more distance. So if you're in Colorado, that's the tailgating distance. If you're not, that's everybody else. There's several distance settings, but whatever. And then you push this to cancel, so you don't have to tap the brakes or anything, which I use all the time in various vehicles. Okay, and this is the horn. I won't toot it because I'm actually parked at my house. I don't want to wake up the neighbors. Now, before we look at the instrument cluster, let's look really quick. There's the trip button just hidden over here. Now, instrument cluster. Let's see if I can get a good setup. I'm going to have to pan a little bit. So, all right, we'll start over here. This replaces the tachometer. Because it is a hybrid, this is your power usage. So you can see right there's the amount of battery. That's why I put it back to this screen, because this is the screen I like the most. This has a head-up display, so I don't need to see a digital speedometer in here. And this shows you the state of the battery. So you can see we're a little over half, not quite 2/3 maybe. And then over here is the state. So when you're braking or slowing down, the charge will go down. but when you use power, it goes up. So it's basically a hybrid tachometer. You've seen them before. Lots of vehicles have them. Now on this screen, this is your speedometer, right? And then like I showed you, that's the middle screen that changes when you push that info button. Down at the bottom, you can see it's indicating the radar stuff is on and it's ready to go, and that's the gear you're in, and so on, right? So here's all of that going on. This is where your speed setting would show. And that's pretty much it. You can change the miles per hour to Canuck miles per hour if you want, and all of that. Over here is your fuel. Basically just shows you how much you have, how far you can go on what you have. Over there shows you your drive state. Right now we're in electric vehicle mode. The vehicle is on, it's just not running because it doesn't need to do anything. I turned off the climate and everything. Over here these are hard gauges, so they don't change. So that's your water heat, so your engine coolant, that's the heat. And then over here is your fuel. You can see that this is in terms of gasoline. You can see that I've hardly used any despite driving a lot of miles. I think it was about 60 or 70 miles in the last couple of days. I've only had this for a couple days. So, and then there's the outside temperature. It's warmed up a tiny bit from earlier, and the odometer is right down there. Now, let's keep going. Another one of the vents. I don't think I showed that first one really, but I like these vents. They output really, really well, and then they're supplemented. You see the little vent there, and then another big one over there. I like the way they did these. Yeah, it's a high point off, honestly, for this car. There's a lot of good stuff about this car. Bose stereo is really good and all of that, but for me, the fact that it's been so cold, the vents and the super aggressive seat warmers have been awesome. I'll talk more about those. This is the infotainment screen. I don't know how much of it you can see. Hopefully you can see it pretty well. It's hard to tell because the camera screen is so small, but this is the kind of the default page, and then you use a knob down right there to control it. I'll show you more of that later. And yeah, so these are the main things. So information, if you want, you have, in fact, you have your owner's manual and stuff right there too. And then entertainment, that's like music and stuff. And then your phone and whatever, telematics, and then your navigation, and then system settings. So this is mostly settings for this system. And then there are subsettings for like the audio and other stuff that are buried in there. And then if you can maybe see it just over there is a little screen. So I'm going to go up. This is the screen I'm usually on right here. And so I have it muted, but this is what's playing, right? This is the music screen. Now you can see right there's a menu thing. So if I push this knob over, that menu will come up like that. There you go. So here's the menu for audio, right? And then to get out of that, you see the X on the left. I just push over to the left and it leaves. Over here is, go back to that main screen, and you can see what's over here. Like I can do auto and CarPlay, and then there's the time. Now, moving down, here's climate controls. So pretty straightforward, but I love that they're all physical. I don't have to do a bunch of stuff in the infotainment to try to get climate. So it's dual climate in this. I have everything turned off. There's an off button right down here. When I turn it on, you can kind of see what's going on. And then most of these are pretty self-explanatory. You got your defrosts over here. You got your Dukes lights right in the middle. Bun warmers and coolers, warmers and coolers. So the bun warmers are very aggressive in this car, which is great. The coolers not so much, but they're still good. They're just not as hardcore. And then there's your start button right there. So that's what you start the vehicle with. Down underneath that, there's your little 12-volt cigarette plug. Whoa! There's your little 12-volt cigarette plug. And then under that is a little tray where you can throw some stuff. That's where I had, like my wallet and the keys and whatnot when I was wearing my pajamas and driving to take the kids to school at 0 o'clock a.m. And then this, cup holders. I'll drink with some coffee. Pretty decent cup holders. My only beef there is I don't like the placement. If you like those 7-Eleven giant gulps, they won't fit in here because of that. That's kind of a bummer. But, you know, I don't think those are fashionable anymore. But your Stanley cup probably won't fit there either. So, you know, if you're up on the current trends. Okay. Shifter right here. Pretty straightforward, goes up and down. You go down to the drive, you can shove it over, and now you're in manual shifting, and you can use this to shift, or there's no paddle shifters in this. So you could use this to shift. That's your option. Whoops, got pushed through. There we go. Drive modes right here. You have 3. Sport, I think 3. Sport, normal, trail, and power, that's sport. So you got power, normal, and trail. Now, what I'll tell you is the power mode isn't a whole lot different than the regular mode. The transmission just allows the RPMs to go a little higher. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. What was the other mode called? Trail. Trail mode is sort of an off-road mode. All you're really doing with that is you're getting the ABS and all-wheel drive system to kind of work a little harder. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's the shifter. Here's the EV button. You force EV by pushing that, assuming you have enough power. If you don't have enough battery, that won't work. EV range in this is not very far. Less than 10 miles, in my experience. So, there you go. Now, here you got a parking brake. You pull the set, push to release. Here you got your hill hold / launch button. So launch control / hill hold right here. I don't think it actually does launch control, but you know, I like to say that. This is the other volume and radio knob I was talking about. So before we get into this, let me get into this. You push it to mute. That's what I did just a few seconds ago. You turn it up and down like this for volume, and then you can push it physically back and forth, and that changes tracks or stations, and that's it. So this is just telling you can turn it on and off with that. This is the star system. Stuff that you like, you push this, and it will jump to it. So the screen, if you've already liked stuff, will say, hey, this is playing over there, and you can hit that and go. You can also hold it down, and it will favorite whatever you're listening to. So whoever had this before did not favorite Sirius XM Liquid Metal or Ozzy's Boneyard. And yeah, I very quickly remedied that. We don't need no 70s on 7 and whatever. Yeah. So that covers that stuff. Now, this knob. You can push it up and down to select and do stuff. You twist it to go up and down menus. And then you have some quick buttons. Here's your nav. This is a back button. This goes to the music screen immediately, and this goes to the home screen that I showed you before, and that's pretty much the operation of it. So you push it that way to select the left-hand menu, push it up and down to select whatever you're doing, and you turn it to go up and down through the menus on the screen. In Nav, for example, this is how you select and go through to spell out a street or whatever, put in a street number, that kind of stuff. So, pretty simple system, command knob, setup, pretty great. Yeah, that's all I got for that. Now, some storage. These open up individually. And here is your inner storage. You can see some USBs. These are both, I believe, USB-A's. Yep, they're both USB-A's. And pretty deep and heavy storage. And then, because these are open, now you can see where the wireless charging spot is. So with these closed, your phone is sitting down in here, you won't be able to see it. With these open, you can see where it's at right there. So there you go. Pretty cool. I like that these open individually because it allows you to be sitting like this and have the passenger be able to pop that open and grab something. Good to go. Speaking of, well, not speaking of passengers, but there's a passenger seat. The seating in this is really good. This is Mazda's kind of sport seating, so there's a little more bolster, a little more going on. Really nice seats. I really like this setup. It's faux leather, so you don't have to worry about, you know, having to do a bunch of crap to take care of it and whatever. And then there's a lot of light and glare, but here's what the dash looks like. This is basically brushed nickel along here, and this is chrome, so you kind of have both going on. It breaks up the black on black, but not enough for my taste. I would prefer to have a little, I like this stitching a lot, but I really wish that maybe the floor or something on the doors or whatever was a different contrasting color, because the black thing just annoys the hell out of me. I'm tired of seeing that in cars. And it happens because it's cheap. That's why there's so many that do that. Back here, there's the back seats. Good size back seats for the size of this vehicle. And then I'll show you photos so you can get the idea of that, plus the cargo area back there. So that's pretty much the interior of the 2025 Mazda CX-50 in the hybrid package. I really like this. As far as the interior goes, the only thing that really changed on the hybrid versus the standard model is that tachometer. Other than that, it's pretty basically this exact same thing. I did a full review of this walking around outside of it, so I'll make sure that's linked below this video as soon as it's live. And then, yeah, so get a full treatment of this brand new offering from Mazda. So yeah, I guess that's it. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'm gonna call it good. This has been Aaron. This is my hat. I got it in Canada. All right. Talk to you again soon.